You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account, from Nvidia to VIX, and everything in between. If it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody, that music means it is time once again for your Hot Options Report, this time for Tuesday, December 16th. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com. Reminding you a couple of things at the top of the show. First, make sure you subscribe to the full network wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Otherwise, you are missing out. Speaking of missing out, if you're not hanging out on the Pro, you are missing out on quite a bit of extra content coming at you, including Pro Q&As, options oddities, giveaways, live streams, and the upcoming Vol Deathmatch 2.0. You definitely want to be there for that. TheOptionsInsider.com/pro is the place to go to learn more. And of course, all of today's data coming at you courtesy of our friends over there at Quick Options. Check out all the data they're bringing to the table. TheHotOptionsReport.com is the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires. As we light the fires on today's top 10, was it a hot day out there in the market? The answer was no. Only cost you 370,000 contracts to break into the top 10 on the single name equity most active list today. I get you to our old pal Pfizer. Haven't talked about them in a little bit. Pfizer selling off 90 cents or about 3.4%, closing 25.53, putting up 370,000 contracts for the number 10 spot, the hot option in Pfizer today. Listeners, 36,000 of the February 23 puts. Interesting. Looks like someone might have drawn a line in the sand by selling those for about 36 cents. So up to you if you think that's a good trade or not. As we keep on climbing to the number 9 spot, it's our old pal Oracle putting up 379,000 contracts. Oracle managing to climb a little bit after a lot of red on the screen the last few weeks. Popping today about 3 3/4, closing 188.65, or about exactly 2% to the upside. The hot option in Oracle today, 22,000 of the 190 calls expiring this week. Average price for these, $2.88. So can Oracle continue the rally? We shall see as we continue climbing up to number 8. It's our old pal, the Widowmaker, aka Netflix, putting up 387,000 contracts. Netflix also rallying slightly today, up about 80 cents, closing 94.57. Listeners, and the hot option in the Widowmaker today, 27,000 of the 100 calls, the par calls, expiring on Friday. Now, they're out of the money still, not much time to go, so they're trading for about a dime. Up to you whether you think that's a good trade or not. As we keep on climbing up to number 7, our old pal Broadcom, aka AVGO, putting up 456,000 contracts today. Broadcom rallying about $1.50, closing 341.30 out there today. The hot option in AVGO, 15,000 of the 350s. Average price for these, $3.52. So once again, if you like these and you bought these, you need Broadcom to continue that rally throughout the rest of the week as we keep climbing up to number 6. Another name that hasn't seen green in a little while, putting some up today. It's our old pal, the Monster, aka Strategy. 482,000 contracts on the tape for them. Strategy popping $5.42, closing 167.5. That's about 3 1/3% to the upside. Listeners, the hot option in MSTR today, 15,000 of the 175 calls, but not expiring this week, expiring next week. So going as close to the end of the year as they can. Average price for these, nearly $5, $4.75. So you like a nibble on a little bit of upside in MSTR, listeners. As we keep climbing up to number 5, it's the Amazonians putting up 491,000 contracts today. Amazon closing pretty much unchanged on the day. 222.56 is where they went out on the hot option in Amazon. A lot of twos today in Amazon. 22,222 of the D's 225s. Average price for these, $1.53, listeners. All right, the party continues in A tech names with number 4. It's the fruit company, aka Apple, coming in at 543,000 contracts. Apple gaining half a dollar, closing 274.61 today. And the hot option in Apple today, 36,000 of the D's 275s. Average price for these, $1.62. That's pretty close to where we went out. So you might like taking a nibble on these, listeners, as we keep on climbing up to number 3. It's Palantir. Palantir putting up 556,000 contracts. Rallying today, $4.50, closing 187.75. That's about 2.5% to the upside. And Palantir putting up today 36, almost 37,000 of the 180 puts. So back to the downside we go. Average price for these, $1.79. So once again, listeners, would you be a seller or a buyer of these puts at the 180 strike going out at the end of the week? We'll keep an eye on Palantir as we keep on rolling, listeners, up to number 2. Yes, once again, falling to number 2, it's Nvidia. When you hear the volume, you'll see why. Only 1.43 million contracts. That's less than half than we've come to expect from them these days. Nvidia closing up $1.43 to 177.72, listeners, and the hot option in Nvidia today, 67, nearly 68,000 of the D's 180s. Average price for these, $1.34. So what took the top spot today, listeners? What kicked Nvidia to the curb? Once again, it was Tesla roaring back to life, putting up nearly 3 million contracts today, 2.89 million contracts, and shooting skyward up another $14.57, or a little over 3% to close at 489.88. Listeners, we were talking about the par calls yesterday, the 500 calls, getting even closer to those today, listeners. Were they still the hot option in Tesla? The answer was yes. Number 1 with a bullet, 214,000 of the D's pars, the D's 500s. Average price for these, $3.39. So if you're in the camp that Tesla has more upside to come this week, maybe you like a nibble. Otherwise, if you're feeling brave, maybe you'll say sold to you. Either way, that is going to do it for us on the Hot Options Report today. I want to remind you, if you have questions about any of this data or you want to see a bunch more we don't have time to get to, we literally just scratched the surface. TheHotOptionsReport.com is the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires. See you back here tomorrow with another episode of Options Bootcamp, as well as the Futures Rundown, before we wrap up another trading day with another episode of the Hot Options Report. Oh yeah. And stay safe out there, everybody.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.